Hello everybody and welcome to Art with Miss V. Today we are going to learn about the famous African-American artist Faith Ringgold. Faith Ringgold is an activist, she's a teacher, she's a quilter, and most of all, she is an artist and a storyteller. We are going to learn about her life and her art, and then later we're going to create art inspired by her style. Now, let's hear Faith Ringgold read her famous book, Tar Beach. I want you to pay careful attention to the beautiful illustrations and her storytelling.
Faith Ringgold, and I wrote Tar Beach, the book, in 1990. I will always remember when the stars fell down around me and lifted me up above the George Washington Bridge. I could see our tiny rooftop with Mommy and Daddy and Mr. and Mrs. Honey, our next door neighbors, still playing cards as if nothing was going on. And BB, my baby brother, lying real still on the mattress, just like I told him to, his eyes like huge floodlights tracking me through the sky. Sleeping on Tar Beach was magical. Lying on the roof in the night with the stars and skyscraper buildings all around me made me feel rich, like I owned all that I could see. The bridge was my most prized possession. Daddy said that the George Washington Bridge is the longest and most beautiful bridge in the world, and that it opened in 1931 on the very day I was born. Daddy worked on that bridge, hoisting cables. Since then, I've wanted that bridge to be mine. Now I have claimed it. All I had to do was fly over it for it to be mine forever. I can wear it like a giant diamond necklace. Or just fly above it and marvel at its sparkling beauty. I can fly. Yes, fly. Me, Cassie Louise Lightfoot, only 8 years old and in the 3rd grade, and I can fly. That means I am free to go wherever I want for the rest of my life. Daddy took me to see the new Union building he is working on. He can walk on steel girders high up in the sky and not fall. They call him the cat. But still he can't join the union because Grandpa wasn't a member. Well, Daddy is going to own that building because I'm going to fly over it and give it to him. Then it won't matter that he's not in their old union or whether he's colored or a half-breed Indian like they say. He'll be rich and won't have to stand on 24-story high girders and look down. He can look at his building going up. And Mommy won't cry all winter when he goes to look for work and doesn't come home. And Mommy can laugh and sleep late like Mrs. Honey. And we can have ice cream every night for dessert. Next, I'm going to fly over the ice cream factory, just to make sure we do. Tonight, we're going up to Tar Beach. Mommy is roasting peanuts and frying chicken, and Daddy will bring home a watermelon. Mr. and Mrs. Honey will bring the beer and their old green card table. And then the stars will fall around me and I will fly to the Union Building. I'll take BB with me. He has threatened to tell Mommy and Daddy if I leave him behind. I have told him it's very easy. Anyone can fly. All you need is somewhere to go that you can't get to any other way. The next thing you know, you're flying among the stars. The end.
That was so beautiful. I love her storytelling and the way she really paints a picture of the images in your mind and the beautiful illustrations. Now we're going to use her story as inspiration to create our own art. I'm going to use a marker today, but you should use a pencil to do your drawing, and then you can outline with marker. Today we're going to be creating story quilts inspired by Faith Ringgold's Tar Beach. And so you're going to take your paper and turn it the long way. We are going to create a border around our artwork today. And you can use a ruler if you have one. I don't have one, so I could use a piece of paper as a straight edge. But today, I think I'm just going to trace a book. Okay, so I'm going to put the book right in the middle. And I'm going to lightly take my pencil and trace around it. Okay, now what are you going to use to do your drawing again? Are you going to use a permanent marker? No, you're going to use a pencil with an eraser in case you need to make a change. So I drew this in pencil and now I am going to just outline it. It would have been easier if I had a ruler, but I didn't have one. Okay, this is going to be the frame around it, and we're going to turn that into sort of a quilt style. And we're going to put the inside, we're going to create our drawing that's going to tell a story. The story that we're going to tell is, if you could fly anywhere, where would you fly? And I want a picture of you flying over something. You could be flying over Cleveland, you can be flying over Disney, you can be flying over the beach. Okay, we are going to be creating story quilts, and the story that we're going to tell is, if I could fly anywhere in the world, where would I fly? And so we're going to create a drawing that tells that story. Everyone's can be different, but I want to show you how to draw a very basic cityscape. A cityscape is a landscape, but in a city. So I want to draw some buildings like we're flying across downtown Cleveland. We are going to talk more about this later, but let's give it a try. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this because I don't have a ruler. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to trace it and use the straight edge. So I'm going to start with let's say I'm going to start with a building here. And my building is going to be a rectangle. So I'm going to draw the two sides and the top. Oops. See, that's why you should be using a pencil. All right. Now these buildings are overlapping. That means some are going to be back and some are going to be in front. But the first thing that we're going to do is just sort of create a little bit of a building landscape down here. Good. And all these buildings are sort of touching. This one's going to be long. Why not? All right, we're going to talk about perspective, but for right now, we're just going to kind of try to make it up. So we want to draw the roof. And so I'm going to draw two lines coming in. And then I'm going to connect them with a straight line. And notice I'm using this piece of paper. If you have a ruler, use that. Ooh, that looks cool. All right, so what are we gonna do over here? We're gonna do a diagonal line here. And then we're just gonna connect it to the edge. Remember, yours doesn't have to look just like mine. Very cool. And we have one more building here. And we're gonna draw it a diagonal line connecting on the edge right here. And I'm just tracing my straight line. Now, I said the buildings were going to be overlapping, so let's draw some buildings behind these buildings. Okay, so what if there was a building behind there? This is in its way, so we're going to draw it coming up, like it popped up behind the other building. And then we're going to draw it coming up here. Let's see. I lined it up so that I would know where it ends. Cool. And now on this one, let's draw a roof on it. A diagonal line in. A diagonal line in, and you're going to connect it. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just, ooh, it's starting to look very cool. What about another building? So I'm gonna draw, I think, another building back here. Maybe this one's gonna be right here. And I wanna draw the roof on that one to match the roof on the one below it. You can always pause it. So all of these are buildings in Cleveland that I just made up, and we want to make it look more sort of three-dimensional, and I'm going to use lines to do that. So if you have a ruler, this would be a great time to get it, but you can also use a straight edge, and I am just going to be drawing lines. Now I want to follow this diagonal line. So I'm going to draw it like that, all the way across. Okay, now we're going to do this one. And I'm going to use this line as a guide and make the lines go that way. All right, and what about these buildings? I want these buildings, I want to draw the lines here and here, and then go from one side to the other and see if we can connect them in the middle. Okay, now our buildings need some kind of windows, right? So I'm just gonna make them up. Your buildings don't have to look like my buildings, but I'm gonna make up different kinds of windows. And I wanna vary them so that each building looks different. I get to play architect. Cool, it's starting to really look like a city. So next time we are gonna add quilt patterns around the edge, and we're gonna draw ourselves flying over the cityscape. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed learning about Faith Ringgold and creating art in her style. Next time, we're going to finish our drawing and add lots of color to make our drawing a finished work of art. Thanks for joining me for Art with Miss V. I'll see you next time.